So Jordan Love, Green Bay Packer quarterback, told the team Saturday, I'm not practicing. I want a new contract. Now, this isn't Brandon Ayuk and the Niners. Green Bay wants to get it done. Jordan Love wants to get it done. But sometimes employees, yes, have to play hardball with the employers. And I'm going to side with Jordan Love here. First of all, he signed a very team-friendly deal before last season. And he should have. He wasn't proven. And he blew through it. He was fantastic. And you could say, well, I mean, he still has a year left. So Jordan Love didn't just eclipse the contract. Through weeks 10 through 18, 8 NFL weeks, with the youngest offense in the league, in the better than it has been in years NFC, he had the most passing yards and the most total touchdowns. He was better than Allen, Lamar, Mahomes, Stafford. He was better than everybody in the league. And that's with a bunch of kids. He didn't have a dominant number one receiver. Even the offensive line is young. Young team. Went to Dallas, blew out the Cowboys. And there's something else here. Is that there is also a responsibility by an organization to make evaluations of a player beyond just games. You and I watch games. We can tell who can play and who can't. But he was in the building 3 years before last year. You can make judgments on his maturity, his leadership, his judgment. Not only had he started 18 games, he'd played in 27 and had over 400 practices. He's 25 years old. 25 years old is different than 21 or 22 years old. 21, 22 years old, you're saying stuff to get you in trouble. You're drinking more than you should. Not necessarily a grown-up. By 25 years old, you screw up, it's up to you now. And NFL front offices, their responsibility is not just watching games. We can all do that. The best NFL scouts, they're going to practices. They're on the phone sometimes with investigators to dig deep on players. What's going on at home? What's going on campus? The Packers have had years and years of watching Jordan Love's maturity, his judgment, his talent at practice, preseason games, starting, backing up. It's time to pay him. Again, I would love to see more of Jordan Love, but I don't have the video of the practices. I don't bump into him at the lunch line at the Packer facility. I don't know if he gets along with others. My guess is he does. But the advantage to having any employee in the building for 3 or 4 years before you have to pay the big money is now it's on you, it's not on them. If he's been as good at practice in the last year as he's been in games, it's on you. And remember, he did all this. I would love to see more. But this isn't a kid who started 10 games in college like Anthony Richardson at Florida, started 10, 13 games, something like that, goes to Indianapolis, gets hurt. I still don't know what Anthony Richardson is. He's dynamic. He's talented. I don't know what he is. I'm not sure the Colts know what he is. He's only been in the building for a year. Jordan Love has been here almost a half decade. Practices, games, starting, exhibition. So to me, that advantage, Green Bay knows quarterbacks. I think they'll pay him. I think they should. And I think to this point, he looks like he can crack into the top 8 to 10 quarterbacks in the league very quickly. Caitlin Clark is not quite ready. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. And the more I watch Caitlin Clark, the more I'm convinced women's basketball isn't ready. Caitlin Clark's more than ready. She helped her WNBA All-Star team beat the USA Women's Olympic team this weekend. She was the best playmaker. She had 10 assists, best playmaker. One of her teammates scored 34, and Caitlin just kept feeding her the ball. And the most assists in the win, double-digit assists in 7 of her last 8 games, despite the WNBA butchering her early schedule, snubbing her for the Olympics. They put her on the WNBA All-Star team. Indiana now is a real potential playoff team. And what do you know? She led everybody in assists as they beat the Olympic team. Clearly, she stretches the floor. She's great with spacing. And she's also, in my opinion, a perfect Olympic or All-Star player, especially Olympics. All-Star games are a little bit of showing off. But the Olympics, if you're not the second, third best player on the team, and she wouldn't be yet, you need to be a facilitator, not a ball hog. I would argue with Caitlin Clark, she passes too much. Now, in the All-Star game this weekend, her shooting was off, but her playmaking wasn't. And so the women's Olympic team said, if we put her on the team, there is no question she's going to be a distraction. Well, you know what's a distraction? Her not on the team. That's what everybody's talking about. So, and here's the other thing, is that I've learned with women's basketball as a whole, they're very much like men's soccer in America. They're a little petty. They've been ignored to a larger degree than other sports, and they've got a chip on their shoulder, and they're sort of a prove you belong. For United States men's national team, the soccer fans, it's like you have to have a passcode to even talk about the sport online. And for women's basketball, it's this constant prove you belong. Caitlin Clark belongs on the Olympic team. She belongs on the All-Star team. She belongs in the skills competition. And here's the thing, women's basketball, you can't use the excuse that she caught you off guard. Because a lot of times, overnight sensations do catch businesses off guard. But Ticketmaster, you knew Taylor Swift was a massive hit 8 years earlier. Be prepared. And 2 years before she entered the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, for Little Iowa, was setting college basketball records. She came back for her final year. You knew 2 years in advance, we got a star. 1 year in advance, she'll be the number one pick. There was no excuse butchering her early schedule. There's no excuse not having months and months of discussions on the Olympic team. She's clearly one of the better offensive, long-range performers in the league. I'd argue she's first or second best playmaker, leads the WNBA in assists, 7 of her last 8 games, double-digit assists, and this is for a team that doesn't have a lot of finishers, the Indiana Fever. So she always says the right stuff at the podium. She's going to downplay this win by her all-star team over the coveted Olympic team she's not good enough to be on. So far, she's more than prepared and capable. It's women's basketball that's not quite ready for Caitlin Clark. She continues to always say the right things at the right time. And I'm going to stay on this Olympic snub to the very end, despite the fact they'll win gold. Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.